know it's true, I'm finally getting to you. We're not through. Yeah, I know it's true, I'm finally getting to you. You can run, you can hide, but inside, I'm finally getting to you. Yes, it's true. I still love you, but I am getting to you.
Stand by to initiate release sequencer. On my mark.
We're on express elevator to hell. Going down.
2, 1. Mark.
Welcome back to the Resupply with me, Guy Next Door.
Me, DK.
And me, Van, no longer with raspy voice, now with glorious radio personality.
Now Glorious obviously is in air quotes. Bring you your weekly double tap of all things Space Marines and Laser Force with a soupçon of COVID.
No more Thanther and Hepburn.
That's
No, voices basically back to normal, thank fuck.
my sticky show. Hello to everyone out there. Hello, chat. Nice to see you all. Having a good day or night, whatever it is. Smalley, you cannot ban sound alerts. It's a new thing I was playing with before we went live. Immediately regret it. Fuck you, sound alerts.
Yeah, what happens if I do this?
Uh-oh.
What'd you do?
What'd you do?
I don't know what I did.
My lights turned off. How'd you do that?
Here, Matrix, take that.
He's inside the computer. Oh, thank you for the hydrate bot. I'm gonna hydrate with some soup. History Professor Dave, thank you very much for that subscription. Hope you're having a good day, wherever you are. Oh, no lights. What
Yeah,
the
fuck that guy. Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy.
I hate that
Totally.
guy.
Why
Yeah,
no
that
lights?
guy's the worst.
That's bullshit. Oh, hang on.
Back the planet.
I told you he turned my lights off, didn't I?
Totally did.
Yeah. Called it.
Gilda Gibson. Roger
I
that.
don't know why that happened. Hang on, here we go. What if I do this? Let's.
You now have seizures.
See, true to Resupply styles, what happened was before we went live, I updated my lights program, right? And of course, every time I do an update, things start working. So what are you gonna do?
During our extensive 3 minutes of show prep.
Well, look, I've
Yeah.
actually been prepping for the last hour. I'll have you know, including some updates that I'll give you guys in a little bit.
Ooh, updates.
Oh no, that's the wrong inflection.
Oh,
Yeah, updates.
Updates.
Oh. See, when I update.
I can hear that now.
This is why we turn these off during the podcast. Let me rectify that.
I like how the person who was asking to ban stuff was like, here, let me press another button.
There's never
Smalley's-
bees on the resupply. Never ever
Smalley,
bees.
you trolling.
You should know better. We don't play with bees on the resupply podcast. It's too distracting. I have been turning it off,
But Smalley pushes buttons. Like, that's what she does.
tisk.
Having actually met her in person, it's like buttons. You and her are gonna get along great in person, Steve-O. Let me.
Right. Oh, God damn it.
Yeah.
God, fuck it.
Oh no! Oh no, frozen video.
No, we're good.
I say we take off and nuke the entire site from orbit.
We're off to a great start today. We're off to a really great start. You guys are just, like you said, Dan, pushing all my buttons. Right. So dumb. It's really weird. Like if you have Discord up,
I say we
which
take
do,
off and nuke
so
the entire
this-
site from orbit.
complete with Windows alert sounds. Awesome. Stop pushing buttons, motherfuckers! There we go. Here's the Duke, and then here's another Duke. There we go. Boom, 2 nukes. Okay. Hello. Nice to see you all. No, there's no B, Smalley. No B's on the resupply. You should know better. No B's on the resupply. Right. So, it's
Take
Saturday.
4.
Yeah.
Trying to get through this.
What have you guys
section?
been doing? What are you guys up to? What's been happening? I'm gonna have some soup.
I've been still hitting the gym because my avatar is still giving me body image issues. Like, look at this fat-necked piece of shit. I gotta get back into the gym here.
What's up with your double-sized neck, bro? Shut up, Avatar. No one has a neck that small. Oh, yeah? What about my neck? Fuck you.
Look at my neck; it's glorious. Yeah, I'm just about ready to be able to get back into the gym and start running again. Shockingly, when you've got COVID, trying to exercise, not really high on your list of priorities. It's weird. It's super weird. But I'm finally kind of feeling good enough that okay, yes, I played soccer a few times, but I was in goal. I wasn't doing that much running. It's not a big deal. And actually my game this week, like, I thought I was okay going into it, and then realized, like, every time I was, hitting the ground to make a save and then popping back up, I was getting lightheaded.
Can we just rewind
cool.
there a little bit? Did you say that you went out and played soccer whilst you were recovering from COVID?
I said I went out and played soccer this week, yes.
Fucking Texans, man.
When I was pretty much mostly recovered. and
Stallion
no longer
raises a good
contagious.
point. Fan didn't officially have COVID. There's no positive test. You can't prove anything, Steve.
Yeah, have a look back at my
Take that.
previous outburst. Fucking Texans.
Bro, I am seriously insulted.
Good.
Give me some credit for knowing timing of infection and
You're a
contagion
dentist.
results.
You didn't even know if you had COVID.
And I was 2+ weeks from when I was symptomatic, so eat a dick.
This is why we can't have nice things, kids. This is why
Listen.
we can't have nice things.
Oh, it's a reason we can't have nice things.
Yeah.
There are so many reasons.
All right. So
Yeah.
Than this week was out spreading COVID. DK, what did you get up to?
Fuck off.
I may have spread COVID just more covertly because I haven't been symptomatic at all. So I mean,
I
that's
was
good.
licking
But-
my hands and touching heaps of things.
Like on the good side of things, going to the gym, I'm feeling a little bit better. My weight's come down from when I had my slight blood pressure panic last year. And it's like things go decently, but I'm at the age where now I'm doing stuff at the gym and my body's like, oh, okay, you're trying to do the thing that you did last week. Okay, that's fine. Like, I'm still not going to be that happy with you, but okay, we can do that same thing you did last week. Oh, you want to do more than you did last week? Well, you can fuck right off. That's not happening. What is wrong with you? That you're not allowed to do that anymore. You need to act your age, bro.
Yeah, you're basically 40, up to.
Yeah, we're just gonna round. We're just gonna round it.
We'll round it. Yeah, Swedish rounding. You go up. Always
Mm-hmm.
up.
Fuck both
Yes.
of you.
What's that? Old man yells at cloud.
Yeah, that's
Old man sneezes on cloud to give it some COVID. How are you doing that with your hand? That's weird. So, right. So this week, Than's not the only one spreading Omicron. New Zealand is currently going through its own little bunch of bullshit. We now have Omicron in the community, and they're saying, oh, we're probably going to have like 50,000 cases before Waitangi Day, which is in 2 weeks. Which I think is a lot of horseshit because we have like 10. But it's exponential spread. So
That's just how it goes, man.
sometimes
It burns fast, but it burns quick.
that's right. Sometimes you just got to go out and play some indoor soccer, regardless of
It
your
is
condition.
it is the magnesium of viruses. Yes.
Ooh, that was a chemistry joke,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen.
Loved it.
We're very highbrow here on the Resupply.
Ta-da!
Only
Ta-da!
50K. Hold my
Cute-
beer.
cute fart
Yeah,
noise.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm pretty sure we got 50K cases just in the drive-through In and Out.
Obviously, Morgan, we see you in chat having your own potential battles with the Rona. Hopefully it's not positive news. I don't know the best way to phrase that. Hopefully it's
Hopefully
good news.
you do not have the Rona based on testing. Although, even the testing, so I got mine from my bass player. He tested positive on 2 of the rapid tests, and then the full PCR he tested negative, but the 2 other people in his house tested positive, but they all had the same symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
So
Maybe he's just gross, bro. Ever think of that?
Was he like, sweet, I don't have it, I'm going to have to play indoor football? Is that what happened, or?
Bro, again, give me some credit for knowing timings on these things. Eat a dick.
It makes me so mad. Anyway.
Yeah, we don't have proof that Than didn't get Omicron into your country because he was coughing into the mic like crazy last week. So it just went straight through and out your computer.
Damn it!
Good job, Steve.
It's inside the computer. Yeah, tons of free rapid tests here, but they stopped doing them now. But you have some left. Yeah, in Australia they've got there's like a global shortage, right? But in Australia, heaps of people just went out and bought up all the rat tests in bulk, and then started. Yeah,
They wouldn't do that.
and then they all started marking the prices way the fuck up and selling them for some crazy prices, which just.
It's not toilet paper, guys. Come on. We actually need that stuff.
Yeah. Scumbags. Somebody developed an app. I can't remember if we talked about it on here or not. Somebody developed an app to show where you could get rat tests.
Okay.
But they had. I'm gonna go out on a limb here. They made the parser pick up the word rat, and so a bunch of pet stores got like flagged in these like locations, and there were stories of like pet shop owners, like pet shops getting swamped with people turning out wanting rat tests, and there was and of course I didn't.
That's where you just hold up an animal and say, "Is this a rat? Is this a rat?"
But yeah, like
a rat test.
the story I heard was the manager came out and was like, "We sell rats, motherfuckers." Really mad. Hello, Nate. Good to see you, bro.
Wait till they hear about CAT scans.
Highbrow. Real highbrow.
We go from a chemistry joke to a pet joke.
Yeah, wait till I make some clever remarks. We're going to really bring the level of the show up.
Sure.
Real quick, we're gonna pivot away. Oh, that's my name. We're gonna pivot away from COVID for the moment. I found a really interesting little thing in Discord. It's a little script thing. So going forwards, whenever we do schedule stuff for the Resupply podcast. By the way, if you want to get the regular schedule for what's happening for the week, join the Discord, !Discord in chat. If Discord annoys you because there's like a whole lot of notification sounds that pop up, just mute everything but the it's like the schedule page. I think that's probably the most important information on there, the stream schedule page. Anyway, so I found a thing. It'll display all the times that I put up there in your local time. just in case people hadn't got their head around time zones yet. We'll make it a little bit easier for people to figure out their local time zone. I'm pretty sure it's accurate. I've tested it with this week's schedule, or from this week. So if you want to check out and just let me know if it's not displaying in your local time, that would be super helpful to know. But otherwise, it should be.
Hopefully, it knows how to account for daylight saving for when our
That's
show
what I'm more
switches on our
concerned
end.
about. I think what it does is it takes the time of your local computer. I think. I'm guessing. So as long as your computer auto updates, you should be sweet. But just let me know if
Let's hope so.
it's not displaying correctly. But that'll make the schedule a lot easier to follow going forwards.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Because it's almost like we have a multitude of time zones of people that watch the various incarnations of this show across the entire week.
I mean, we're pretty consistent with when we do this particular stream, but
Yeah.
sometimes we do random stuff, or like, when we do rewatchables or movie nights or whatever, that'll really help with those things in particular. So, yeah, hopefully that makes everyone's life a little easier. Makes mine a little
Makes
more
our
difficult.
life a little easier.
Yeah, not mine. But that's okay. I don't mind doing it because it's kind of fancy.
Fancy.
You're so fancy.
We're so fancy here on the Resupply. Oh my God, look at us doing all this damn dare technology that's never going to break, and we're never going to have technical issues with it whatsoever, because that never happens on this show.
It made me feel significantly better when I see our streaming contemporaries also have issues with their streams.
Yeah.
Oh, constantly.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Yeah, it makes me feel much better about like our ineptitude. That's good.
Yeah. It was like the highest praise possible from a student this week when I was running my Zoom classes. And they're like, you're the only professor I've had so far who hasn't had massive tech issues like every single class. And I was like, oh, well, I'm very practiced at those.
I've been training for this.
Yeah, let me tell you about this other thing that I do that does have constant technical issues, which is why we don't have issues with this. Yeah.
Smalley, that's awesome. That's good.
Although I mean the reality is like we don't for as much as we play that up, we don't actually have that many massive technical issues.
They're minor tech issues.
Yeah, very seldom do we have something that actually legitimately prevents us from being entertaining.
They're more amusing than anything else.
It's like when I do this and then it freezes the cameras. That's this is about the extent of it.
Mm-hmm.
You just guaranteed a major technical issue, Starker.
We did.
Yes,
That's
totally.
how this works.
Sometimes
It was actually a double reverse jinx, though. So by putting the energy out in the universe, every action has equal opposite reaction. So the jinx is going to cancel itself out, and we're going to be completely glitch free.
boom, dropping more science on you. That's how.
That's that galaxy brain shit right there.
Yeah, but now that we've said it, it's gonna go back the other way. Shit.
Ah, shit.
Shit.
We're bad at this.
So the next I alluded to it earlier, and I wanna. I got a message earlier from some people saying, "Hey, I bought my tickets to WCT." People that hadn't confirmed that they were coming already, and I was like, "Fuck! I really need to make some announcements of my own regarding my own status about coming to WCT." So, as many of you know, I was very, very excited. I bought my flights at the end of last year, I think it was.
Thereabouts.
Yeah.
End of last year, beginning of this. I mean, yeah, it was.
No, it was the end of last year. It was near the start of December, because the government
That's right.
then announced almost immediately that there was a thing called Omicron.
That's
But
right. We FOMO'd the shit out of you. Is basically what happened.
it happens every time. So
Sure.
I can FOMO other people by proxy, which I'm okay with. The issue being that I bought my flights, very excited about traveling, with the assumption that the government were phasing out MIQ, managed isolation and quarantine, for New Zealand, for New Zealand's citizens traveling back to New Zealand. At the moment, you have to, well, at the time, I think you had to go into MIQ for 7 days, and then they let you out. Now, Omicron has scared the shit out of everyone, so they are going into tighter restrictions here in New Zealand. And one of those things is they've actually extended the MIQ stay from 7 to 10 days. And have pushed out the phase out program. So, you know, just in case people were like, oh, I feel good, I'm going to go play some indoor football.
You did it to yourself, bro. Don't try to be mad.
I'm gonna be mad.
So
You can die mad.
This is why we kind of have nice things. So yeah, they've pushed they've pushed it out, and so it means that if you, and they've got like a massive backlog, and I think this is why they were looking to phase MIQ out, because they just don't have enough spots for people, for New Zealanders traveling back to the country to be in MIQ.
Right.
And if you do manage to get a spot, it's like 3,200 New Zealand for the 10 days to stay at the hotel. I don't have another $3,000 to spend for this trip, especially to spend it staying in my own
It's a little
country.
excessive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the likelihood of me being able to go is diminishing daily, which really bums me out, because I was really looking forward to coming over. At this point, though, I've cancelled so many trips. Like, what's another one?
Yeah. Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah. So I will make that decision this week. I'm going to talk to my teammates as well as Than, because me and Than had a whole extra excursion booked for after the trip. We were going to go to Vegas. I know there was other people looking to come to Vegas as well. So I want to make the decision way way sooner than the end of the month, just so that other people can adjust their plans. Because there was a few that had centered around me, which, you know, for me is how my life works.
You are the center of the universe. That's true, Steve-O. You're not wrong.
We're just gonna do a new 16-hour stream to raise 3,200 to get Steve through MIQ, because we just can't take it.
Honestly, I was like, fuck, we should do something. We should do some fundraising. But fundraising for Steve to be able to go on holiday doesn't have a good ring to it. It doesn't sound very good.
Not.
What? You're a sick child in need. I don't see the difference. I don't know those other kids. Fuck them.
Good point. Twitch is like,
How come they never found Biggie and Tupac's killers? Nicole and Simpson can't rap. I want justice.
He's going on a rant. Make a wish. Exactly right, Troy. Yeah, look, it's probably not going to be in the cards. If by some divine miracle they're like, oh, actually, no, we're still going to have it so that MIQ will get phased out from the start of March, maybe I'll just jump on the plane and come. But at this stage, I have up until 24 hours before I'm due to fly to cancel my flight. So it might be a case of I'll officially cancel until I'm not. But yeah, so we'll have a chat to the boys. It's a real shame though, because I was obviously looking forward to seeing you guys. I was looking forward to seeing so many of you in chat, specifically the Brits. Very, very keen to meet you guys in person. But you know, we'll have to push that out. The other thing as well is that it kind of got me thinking about what the story with Nats for this year is. I mean, I can talk about how I think it's going to go, but I'd rather have a chat with Demihawk first. But again, it comes down to giving people enough notice to make travel arrangements or travel plans or whatever, or if on the likelihood that Nats for this year is cancelled or postponed, it gives somebody else at another site enough time to be like, well, we'll pick up the slack, because it is really only New Zealand that is the cause of the travel problems. Like, people are able to leave here, they just can't come here. But as far as I'm aware, the US don't really have those restrictions in place. Neither do the UK.
Restrictions? What are those?
Restrictions? Nah, we go and play indoor soccer.
Yeah, exactly right.
See, there you go.
There's no goalkeepers here, if you will.
No. That's the problem. You've got too many-
Gatekeepers.
Oh,
Gatekeepers is the word.
Oh, that's right. There's heaps of goalkeepers.
and heaps of gatekeepers. Yeah.
That's it. I'm out of here. You already made your plans, mate. But yeah, as far as I'm aware, people can come in and out of Australia. Somebody feel free to... I just made that up, so feel free to correct me. But yeah, so maybe that's how it looks for this year. But that's a conversation for off stream for many more people than just the three of us. So yeah, it's not great. But
we will miss you if you can't make it, but that's legit. I mean, it would be the same for me. Like, I super want to come to New Zealand this year, but I also couldn't afford an extra $3,200 just to stay in it. Not to mention just staying in a hotel for 10 days.
Yeah, that
just suck ass.
Yeah,
and I don't even live there, right? So
yeah, that the fact that it's been extended out 3 more days like that, you know, you can almost kind of make a justification on, okay, if I'm going to go down for 3 weeks, okay, it's 21 days, okay, so 7 of it's in a hotel, okay, so I got 14 to do a thing. You can at least start to make that math work.
Yeah.
If you go, oh, I'm gonna go down for 3 weeks, but I've got 10 days in a hotel, no. That just becomes...
Yeah, meanwhile in the States, they're just like, do you have just like a minor cough? It's 5 days is fine.
Yeah.
10 days. That's fine. We get back to work, you lazy schlubs, fucking peasants. Get back in the office.
Like, all the fingers on one of your hands, you should be sweet. Okay, well, that's good enough for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, not great news. It makes me sad because not only that, but oh my god, I'm super looking forward to playing on that team of like has-beens, including myself.
I think you mean the GOAT team, as selected by Steve.
That's right, fucking GOAT team. But yeah, it is what it is, you know. Sometimes you don't get to travel for 3 years. It's just kind of how it works.
Yeah.
Queensland.
And it's bullshit.
Queensland only has you take a test within 24 hours of arrival, and you need to quarantine until there's a negative result. Wow. Yeah, so, I mean, New Zealand is super duper strict compared to everywhere else, so it's not looking good for us. Not for this year, anyway.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, not good for you in that sense. Still, great that you guys have had such a low death rate in comparison with, everybody else.
100%.
So, well, as much as it's screwing us in context, we'll try to keep the broader fate of humanity in mind. As selfish as I can oftentimes be, I do try to remember that on occasion.
Look, we
very occasionally.
we first and foremost tend to look out for our own self-interests. But obviously,
but still, fuck them kids. Give Steve $3,200.
don't fuck them kids.
No. Phrasing.
You think WA is worse? Yeah, but when I say Australia, I don't mean WA.
Nobody does.
I don't
nobody
consider
does.
WA as part of Australia. Yeah,
it's like its own separate country that is on the same continent.
Exactly right. So yeah, that's kind of the updates when it comes to that sort of stuff. Probably the last really major update that I have at the moment. This morning I bought my first lot of NFL NFTs, so I'm looking forward to opening those at some point on the stream. You can
Oh
look
God,
forward
here
to
we go again.
NFL Top Shot pack opening probably on Monday next week, but we'll see. We'll check Caruso's availability.
The best description of NFTs I heard the other day, someone was like, "Okay, so you're married, right? But then everybody else is just railing your wife, but you have the marriage certificate. That's the NFT."
I saw that. I was like, "Oh, that's pretty damn funny." Was that in our D&D group? Was that where that got put? I don't know. Maybe.
Oh no, it did get posted. I think I saw it somewhere else, but it did get posted in the laser memes on our Discord
Ah,
also.
yes,
But
that's
I
it.
think I saw it on Reddit before that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Saw it there first.
Either
I was
way,
like,
it's really good.
Either way. Actually, there is one last thing. How's our crypto going? Maybe you made $3,200 from that. No, the whole market like shit its pants. So
Exploded.
yeah, which is fine because I then capitalized on some of that, bought a bunch more crypto. I kind of spent
Call
money
hedging.
I shouldn't have done, perhaps, on that. If they were, I actually called the airline before. I was like, "How does it work with the airfares? Do you do refund or do you credit?" And they're like, "Oh, we credit only." I was like, "Fuck!" Well, I was gonna spend some of that money on cryptocurrency.
Let me make one other poor investment instead of this flight that I'm not going to go on.
Exactly right. There
I
was
spent it on these magic beans.
it's like you've got these magic beans, right? And everyone else is able to rail them. So yeah,
that was close.
There's one final update. Now everyone in chat knows who Lucy is. Lucy from the Czech Republic. Hi, Lucy. Lucy is currently working on some emotes for the channel as well. We got some emotes done by Spiderwisp, who's also a community member from the Blueson community. So I got some done by them. Lucy's also working on some for us that'll feature these two more because I think we're lacking in some DK and Than emotes. So there's some new emotes coming at some point. I've seen a sneak peek of one. I think Lucy might have put it out in social media somewhere. It's me holding an infinity. I've got an infinity gauntlet. It's awesome. Don't have to show
Steve-O
much
is
of this.
Thanos. Okay.
Oh, it's so good. I think it's actually Toothpick Steve as Thanos.
Okay, Toothpick Steve as Thanos. That I can actually
Yeah.
see. Okay, that actually makes a lot more sense in context.
So Stallion, anger and I don't know, disappointment. They seem like emotions. Yeah, so that's the last time. I'm really looking forward to seeing them. If anyone out there does a little bit of streaming and you'd like some emotes, Lucy's an amazing artist. I highly recommend you send her a message. She'll be able to sort you out, mate. Able to sort you out. You're having network issues. Good night, Smalley. have a good sleep. Right. So what were we talking about today? The actual, we wasted 40 minutes. What were we going to talk about today?
Only wasted 35.
35.
Let's
Sorry. I rounded up.
let's be clear.
Yeah, this is actual content. It's
Yeah.
fine.
There was a couple things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about WCT, but is there anything that we need to kind of go into with that at the moment?
I think you kind of addressed the elephant in the room for WCT, which is whether or not we get to see your brightened smiley face. I think we'll probably talk more maybe next week if we can get Tucker on then, or sometime in like the near future, because it looks like things are kind of solidifying. When I talked to him last, it looked like we had kind of a mostly complete, still rough draft of the schedule, but mostly complete. That's out. That looked good to me. I think it'll be good for everybody involved, and we're just sorting a couple other issues. So I think we're getting ready to finalize everything, and then we'll go from there.
Was that 9th team added?
No.
That's good.
So I think we are capped at 8 teams. The schedule for 8 teams is done. I think that's where we are staying.
Okay, perfect.
That seems very.
Yeah. There were a few teams that ended up taking on a 7th player, because I think that potential 9th team had like 4 people. It was like you can't really scrounge up 2 other people. I think that outvoted to Ada's max. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there was even a full team, and there were a couple of people on that proposed team who were like only kind of maybe to come anyway.
Right.
So yeah, to,
Yeah.
to pull back the curtain, that is kind of why I voted it down, and also it's so many more games, and it puts so much more pressure on the schedule.
Eight's good. Eight's really good.
It's good, and since we have that fourth day, even though Wednesday and Thursday are shorter days, it seems like that should be plenty of time for us to get in a heap of games, still have some time for socials, have food break and stuff like that during the day,
You guys should get
all
some
that kind of
laser
stuff.
ball in you. Get a little laser ball. That's what you should
I do want to play some laser ball when I get there.
Yeah. What about one man with 6 phases?
Hey, Tav.
Oh
Hello,
well, I
Tav.
bet that must be the Tav.
Bloody
Speak of the devil.
First time chatter, long time.
It's the Tavmanian
listener.
devil.
Tavmanian devil. Hello, Tav. I don't think we've ever met in the flesh.
No, you have not.
Nah, but I've heard your
100%
name forever. Forever, ever. Driving. No.
Texting and twitching and driving, like
Yeah.
any good Texan would do.
I'm on my way to go play indoor football. That's the love I yeah, okay. Lovelanders warm up with laser ball, dope. That's really cool. I really like it. It's such a good game.
down
We
for
talked
that.
about that a couple weeks ago. All right. Well, yeah, we'll do a final kind of check-in for WCT when we get Tucker on the podcast at some stage.
If it's not going to give you too much FOMO, Steve, you
Nah,
can just
nah,
be like,
nah.
no, I don't want to talk about that anymore. Fuck you guys.
Like I said, I'm now at the
Too
point-
painful.
I've had to cancel so many goddamn trips. Like I'm numb to it. It's my new reality. It does actually open up some other possibilities. Instead of coming over, I'm going to go to Christchurch in April to see my cousins to play disc golf. So I guess that's
Nice.
a good secondary thing. But yeah, it is what it is. Yeah. So what was the? Oh, actually, Lucy's put the emote up in the arts and crafts section of the Discord if anyone wants to check it out. I really dig it. It's really cool.
That is definitely Toothpick Steve. That is amazing. Love it.
Yeah, it was really cool.
At first, I thought he was like smoking a joint. I just saw like some smoke coming out of the front there.
That's a toothpick. It's not a joint, I swear. Actually, there is one last thing I want to talk about before we get into the crux of what we were going to talk about. I was on the Blueson channel last night. He does a monthly stream called Community Canon. I go on there and I talk with him and None More Grey from the Truly Awful channel.
Channing?
Yeah.
Channing,
Tatum?
Yeah.
the old Channing Tatum.
The old Channing Tatum. And we discussed things that become canon for his community. We did things a little differently. We did a draft, like a fantasy sports draft, but it's for new release video games for the next year. So the idea is that you choose games that are slated to release for the next year, and then your score is based on how good it reviews or how poorly it reviews.
Interesting.
Interesting.
So it's
okay.
pretty cool. It'll be for the next year. But probably the most interesting part of it is that the stakes have been set. The first and second place team will get to choose a video game character for the losing team to get tattooed on their body. So the stakes
no.
are quite high.
Blimey.
That escalated very quickly. I don't know what I thought the stakes were going to be, but that escalated very quickly.
It's
Oh,
up there.
Fuck.
It's up there. So yeah, if anyone wants to design me a sweet tattoo, because I chose a lot of games that are probably not going to drop this year.
Oh boy.
Yeah, what a
Well, but if they're not going to drop this year, that means they can't be poorly reviewed.
That's right. It means you get 0 points.
Yeah, this is like Than's Schrodinger's COVID. If you never test positive, do you really have it?
If a tree falls in the wood and then catches COVID, does it even count?
Does
Not
does
if
it
it's in
then go,
Texas.
Yeah.
Does it then go play soccer? Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
If we're gonna run that into the ground, let's run it into the ground.
Oh, we absolutely will. I thought I'd bring it up just because it's an amusing thing that hopefully I don't end up with a tattoo at the end of the year. But if I do, I will be streaming it, so you guys can watch me get a tattoo for punishment.
If you want to know why Steve has Princess Peach tattooed on his face, you'll know
No, so
exactly
I
why.
get to choose the location and the size. They get to choose the character. But yeah, Pin-Up Peach has been bandied about.
Blimey.
Yeah. Right,
There are worse tattoos.
let's go back to some Laser Force related content. So,
Hang on. We do Laser Force related content on this channel.
like we do at least 20 minutes
On occasion.
like, yeah, there's 20 minutes you have to do of Laser Force related content, and then you can fill the rest of the hour with shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
Now, as many of you have seen on the Facebook, in fact, everyone except for DK, on the Laser Force Tournaments Facebook group,
Fuck you, Zuckerberg.
so we've had Tivia Chick came on podcast late last year. If you haven't been to Tivia's website, I think there's exclamation Tivia in chat. Go check out Tivia's website. Tivia is basically, I would say, is the be all and end all of laser tag.
The OG.
Yeah, she's gone out of her way to like catalog, all of the laser tag systems. And review them, and basically lives laser tag more than anyone else that I know. She put a post up in the Facebook group this week asking for people's opinions about what makes a good laser tag arena. Now we did this podcast. When did we do this podcast?
A while ago.
November
It was
2020 is when we put it on YouTube. So over a year ago, but we're all about rehashing old stuff here, so we thought we'd jump back into it.
It's a slightly different take on the topic, though.
That's right.
Yeah, because the original that original podcast was more us initially kind of going off, what were our favorite arenas, and then there was kind of a segue in that around things that we liked about certain arenas, but not necessarily just a full-on discussion of what makes a laser tag arena and a laser tag facility by extension pop to you. So
yeah, because the way I'm looking at Tivia's survey, it definitely highlights different things than I think I would have thought of for the previous pod that we did, because I was mostly thinking about the context of SM5 then. But most laser tag, much as it saddens me, is not SM5. There are other things you need to consider.
So
really.
So Stallion has put a link in chat. I implore you all to go to that link and to fill out the survey, and have your say about what you think makes a laser tag arena really good. Have you guys? I quite liked. There was so Nikki put some thoughts about this in the chat. That's Ivy, no?
Yes, that's UK Ivy. Yes,
right. And also Jeff, he also put a comment in there. AKA Lejeune.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm interested to hear like your guys' takes on the survey and what you kind of would put in there if you were filling it out. How do you want to kind of roll through this? You just want to like talk about it, or
Yeah, well, let's just go through the questions, I guess.
Okay. There's more than this in 5. No, Tav, there's not. Um, Troy did the survey the other day, made me realize that this is your 25th year playing League. Wow, dude, that's friggin' crazy, man.
So, on top of that, like I had the realization that roughly sometime the middle of next month will be my 25 year
Yeah,
of playing lasers because I
yeah,
started in mid-February of 97. I'm
yeah.
like,
You got
are
a
you,
you got a couple of months on me, but yeah, this will be year 25 for me as well.
it's like, are you and and I know we've had this conversation before, but are you fucking kidding me?
Mm,
25 years? I've been doing this for 25 years. What?
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's
I remember making such a big deal when it was like 2017 was going to be 20 years
yeah.
and we're having Nats and Sack, and where did 5 years go? They get flushed down the COVID holes where they go.
Yeah,
yeah.
down the old covered hole, or as we like to call it, Than's mouth. So I think I said hoe. I meant hole. Yeah, it's yeah. I haven't been gone that long personally, not on the regular anyway. I'm regular player since 2003. So I got another year until I hit that 20-year mark. But I signed up in
Noob.
2000, I believe. So you only really count it from when you were playing on the regular, though. I think. You think
Star Killer, you guys are older now than I was when you thought I was old.
Oh yeah, way
Yeah.
older.
significantly.
Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah.
decrepit now.
Yeah. All right. So we'll go with let's go here. Let's just go through all of it. So, how long have you been
Yeah.
playing laser tag for? More than 10 years on all of our.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
safely say that.
How many laser tag arenas have you guys played?
If we're just talking laser tag arenas and
Laser
not,
tag.
not
Yeah.
laser force, am I over 50? I'm definitely not over 100. 100 is too many.
Goodness me. I was
It's
like,
it's definitely more than 26. I'm just trying to think if it's more than 50.
have I been to more than 10? Yeah, I've been more than 10.
Yeah, I'm somewhere in that 50 to 100 range because there was a point when I was it kind of in that like 97 to 99 range. I was doing a lot of actually going to different system sites and whatnot just because. So like, I mean, yeah, so there's a lot kind of in that time frame that I was that I was doing, and even since then, I'll randomly pick things up. So I'm yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm definitely 50 plus. I don't think I'm quite 100 plus, but I've definitely
Yeah.
had my fair share.
Yeah, you're closer to 100 than
Flatman
I am, I'm
7.
pretty sure. Both in age and laser tag arenas, but yeah.
Fucking,
Yeah,
like,
because I keep thinking that it's like there's been a bunch of little rinky-dink laser tag places that I've been to if I'm just like on vacation somewhere. It's like, oh, hey, there's laser tag over there. I should go play a game. I just want to go check it out and see what it is. So yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if I had over 50.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain I'm in that second range, 11 to 25. I haven't played that many arenas, and the majority of the arenas I have played have been Force arenas. But, there has been the odd, like, zone spots.
Yep.
Theme parks and stuff that have, like, laser tag attached, blah, blah, blah.
Do you count that like DC minecart game from
No.
Movie World that we
No,
went
no,
to?
no.
I mean, that had laser gun. You did tag things. That counts as laser tag.
There's a Toy Story one of those at Disneyland, right?
Which is amazing.
Yeah. I played that one.
It's a California Adventure.
Smash
That is my favorite ride in California Adventure, just bar none. I love that thing. Yeah, 'cause I'm a big kid.
All right, so and whilst we fill this out, feel free to like fill it out at the same time, kids, because you'd be doing Tivia a big favor.
Unless your name is Tav and you're driving, and then don't fill out the survey.
Don't fill it out, bro. Don't do it.
Pull over on the side of the freeway and then start filling it out. Priorities, damn it. 7 for you, 6 lasers, and 1 quest in the UK. Shocking revelation that man who's played laser tag for 25 years considers himself a big kid.
Shocking indeed.
Yeah, totally. Nobody could have seen that coming.
Yeah.
You're not wrong, Stallion. You're not wrong.
Right, arena appearance and aesthetics. What do you think makes a laser tag arena particularly impressive, i.e. visually stunning or distinctively unique?
So if we're going, because of how the question's framed, and it is going with the visual impact portion, because there's definitely some things that this survey doesn't cover that I think it needs to, but we'll get to that at the end of this, I'm sure. From a visually stunning perspective, I mean, I'm a big fan of, like, when you walk into the lobby the first time, like there needs to be some type of hook when you walk into the lobby the first time. Like, one of the best examples that I have is actually the original version of the Sacramento lasers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because the theming on that site originally was this kind of medieval thing, and so when you walked into the lobby, like the first thing that you got was this, this very large painting on the wall of, like, the castle, and and that theming was obviously carried through the whole facility.
And the Wizards on Karna.
And the Wizards on Karna, yeah, just all, with the member number 500, because we'll never have that many members. We'll never get to that number.
I think I had 95 in Karna. That's the version I
had. Anyway, so having something that is that's a little bit different than what you're expecting from walking into a facility, because, like, so many tag facilities you walk in and they're very kind of sterile as far as that goes, and it's just like, but having some sort of theme that you're not necessarily expecting, and having that theme, like, carried completely through the entirety of the facility, including the arena, like, that's very hooky.
I think Loveland would be a really good example of this, because Loveland has fantastic layout and decor for all that kind of stuff. Like, they have played up the whole ancient Egyptian adventure thing to a T, and it is visually stunning. It's aesthetically pleasing from the lobby through the arena through the rest of the theming. So that, I think, is a great example of that as well.
From a maze perspective, I like, if you're going to walk into the arena, I like having the first thing that you see inside the maze be, like, visually stunning. And, like, I think Brisbane's quite a good example of that, because when you walk into, if you walk through into the arena for the first time, you're just met with this big expanse of the green base, and there's, like, towers and stuff, and, like, flashing lights, and above your head there's lights. So all of that, like, is really cool. If you walk into an arena and, like, you see something really awesome immediately, I quite like that. There are plenty of arenas that you walk into and the first thing you see is, like, just a wall, with maybe a line painted on it or something, and it's not great. If you walk into the current Wellington Maze, Minotaur. sexy Minotaur. Yeah, so that, I think there's got to be something attention grabbing that yeah, they when you walk in, you're just like, whoa, that's dope. I think
Yeah, and that,
Like even though it was a very rinky-dink small arena, the other Apex Entertainment Center that we went to in Syracuse that had sort of a whole Escape from New York vibe, where they actually had like a fluorescent Statue of Liberty and they had like some buildings around a ramp and stuff like that. That was really visually stunning. It was a tiny arena, wouldn't have been good for SM5 at all, but I'm just like aesthetically, like this is really cool. Just be able to do that. If anything, I wish they would have played it up more and it was like you really would have been in sort of the either the ruins of a city or in like some kind of futuristic city for theming that's throughout there. But it's like they have one portion of the arena that's like that. Then they have a portion that's just like, yeah, this is just a typical fluorescent paint laser tag maze.
Cyberpunk Samurai and Pilsen. Fuck yeah, that's awesome. On the flip side to that, having maybe not so much an arena, but like the foyer, if it's like really poorly lit and looks dingy, that's such a massive turn off because like you're like, oh, this place looks run down and dingy. Like I don't want to.
well, and that's
my kids
and
there.
that yeah, and that ties back to, you know, the initial the initial impression that people need to have walking into the facility. Like there has to be, you have to have multiple wow factors within your 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 overall facility. Like you need to have that first wow factor of you walk in the door into the lobby, like I was saying, and like, oh shit, that's really cool. You need to have, you know, kind of the secondary wow factor of, you know, even walking into the briefing room, if you've got, you know, if you've got a wow factor there, like that's helpful. The Chula Vista site,
The
I
giant
actually
shark,
thought
man.
Yeah,
did
that was
a
tight.
did a really nice job of, I mean, wasn't that their lobby was kind of for me, but I also was seeing it kind of towards the end of its run, so it was a little run down, as it were. But going into the briefing room from the first time, and you know, yeah, the subtle stuff that they did with the undersea theming that made it pop was like, oh, okay, you know, you actually got that sensation of you were, you know, transitioning into something completely different, which is, you know, which is kind of that kind of step into immersion with the entirety of the game. It's a pity the ramps in the arena sucked so much, but that's neither here nor there.
Stupid little window cutout mirror
I think I
things.
felt some road rash just hit my arm right now for some reason. I don't know why.
All right. Is there anything else you guys want to add to that? I think like
No, we'll be
Yeah.
here all night if we go in that much depth.
yeah. Next one. Name the most memorable arenas you've played and what features make those locations stand out. We went through our favorite arenas, like I think in the last episode, but like I'm a massive fan of the Brisbane arena. It's sheer size.
I used to be more a fan of it.
Wow, what happened? Are we lost?
Nah, I don't.
Stupid mini golf.
Yeah, stupid mini golf.
Well, and you liked it before they put in like New Tower and that kind
Yeah.
of stuff
Really?
back when it
I
was.
love all of those additions. Absolutely love them all. But yeah, their maze, just due to the sheer size of it, is like it's massive. It's like a giant playground for us to play Space Marines in. And also, yeah, like there's huge amount of upstairs space and downstairs. The theming is pretty cool. I suppose there's not really a strong theme as such, but like, all the parts to it look pretty cool. The vortex is dope. Yeah, really cool maze. What do you guys think?
So the obvious original answer is going to be the Sacramento maze because there was that wow factor of stepping in with the medieval theme and all the transitions and the arena and everything in it, and it was the first 2-story arena I'd ever played in. So you know there's all sorts of little kind of things with that. But I'm gonna go off the board completely because you know we've had that conversation. So there's a laser force that is in Branchburg, New Jersey, that is part of a larger FEC that's also like an indoor sports facility. Um, and so, of course, while I was back there for training a couple years ago, I basically told the person who was with me, because the rental was in my name, like, yeah, we're gonna go check this out, and you can come with me or not. I don't care, because I have the car. Um, and this is literally it it is the largest arena I have ever seen. Um, and it was a Creative Works arena, which basically means that like they had all the all the bright shinies and this, that, and the other, but it was
There's a
actually
shitload of fluorescent panels.
shitload of fluorescent panels, but they also had like the really high end fog machines and a lot of the laser machines to really amp up the effects. But this is literally a 15,000 square foot arena, if
Jesus.
I'm remembering right. Which you have to understand, like, so to compare that to Brisbane, because there's enough people in chat that have been to Brisbane, it's like a third again larger than Brisbane.
Wow.
Like it is a massive massive arena as far as that goes. And just kind of the I mean, the visually impressive nature of the size of it, and the fact that they like had essentially like actual trees and stuff in it and whatnot. It was ridiculous. So like from that perspective, very cool. I have no idea how it would have played for anything other than a standard game, because it was actually too big.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
But they had, I think, some like 70 or 80 packs, so they could fill it.
Holy shit! Wow,
So,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
DK, got anything?
I also enjoy, again, not just to cycle everything back to the original SAC maze, but I do think it's cool, and I think this is actually cool about a lot of the stuff that Lucy's shown us from the Czech Republic maze. I like when there's a lot of those just sort of in-house personal touches that obviously it is a loved arena that has input from the people who are actually there. Like, I feel like if you were just going to do one of those memes that's like broke versus woke, that it's just like just having Creative Works spray a bunch of fluorescent paint everywhere, like that's broke. But it's like if you have something cool like the fire swamp, or just there's a random alien someplace that was painted by one of your players, like that's cool. It's visually appealing. It makes it feel unique in that sense. I have said that just I have kind of a bias for two floor arenas, just because that was new and novel when I went to the SAC arena. It was the first two floor maze I played in, and just having that vertical space that's available, even if the arena isn't that much larger, like I think square footage wise, the SAC arena was probably of comparable size or maybe even smaller than the Syracuse field, but
Smaller.
adding the vertical space makes it feel like it's
huge.
larger and it's more engrossing in that sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Syracuse arena, I think, is about 7,500 square feet of floor space. And I'm sorry for our Australia, New Zealand people, I'm not doing the conversion. And the Sacramento maze, floor space wise, was about, I think it was about 4,500. So a little over half, basically.
It was bigger originally, though, because we lost a little bit of space from the haunted house stuff.
We did.
Over the years. And then the briefing room impinged on it a little bit later on. But yeah.
Decorative props might not change the game, but do they otherwise leave an impression on you? What props have you seen that actually do change the game experience? Let me see a whole bunch. Wait, is it still there? A whole bunch of Reggie's in chat, because that's for a little while at least has impacted this podcast. Having Reggie the Lion be in a maze. But I think having a really impressive warbot is a really helpful thing. Because if you make that like a key feature in the maze, like if people come across it, if it's like a big, like Brisbane had the snake. It was a big snake.
The Jade Serpent.
Jade Serpent, yeah.
Yeah, which is technically different from a warbot. A Jade Serpent is a distinct feature.
Okay, so, but that kind of fuck you, man. I didn't know that actually. That's good that you made me look foolish in front of everybody. No.
That's what I'm here for, buddy.
But
Yeah,
if you,
I was about to say that's been DK's role for years. The amount of times he's made me look foolish in front of people, bro. Like that's his role.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
But like having a big interactive like feature, which is like really cool that that Laser Force have their beacons, but it would be a lot cooler to see them as something else.
As opposed to just iPad screens, basically.
Yeah, like a little bit more than just like a computer on the wall. Some of those like giant foam cut like warbots or Jade Serpents, because they're two different things. Really impressive in an arena, and like, if you do it properly, really cool. I suppose they do impact the game a little bit. But yeah, I really like those personally. What are you guys?
I mean, I'm all for anything that, makes people go, like, oh wow, I want to go back and do that again because this particular thing was so cool. Because I like it when facility ops make money, and stay open so that we have places to play, even if they're not a place that we get to play Space 5, because the more ops that are open, the healthier the company and the industry is. There's kind of a wider meta there that if the industry is healthy and there are more sites, we can do the thing. Stallion in chat, Psy and Sidetracked. Yeah, although Sidetracked and Oakley, I mean, they made it 30 plus years.
That's a good run.
That is actually, that is actually really fucking impressive for a family entertainment center.
I mean, for any business, really.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. But almost more so with a family entertainment center. So
yeah.
I mean, does it suck that they're gone now? That they're basically a COVID casualty? Yeah, it sucks. But we have to give them credit though for 30 plus years as a facility. And as Ducky says in chat, it wasn't a Laser Force originally. It was a Zone first. But they still yeah. I mean, true. They still, as a facility, lasted 30 plus years. So good for them.
Yeah, DK, want to weigh in on the non
three coolest ones that I've seen. Number 3 was the Dragon Warbot in Sacramento, because it's a fucking dragon.
Yeah,
it's cool, man. Like, what is a better way to have a warbot stuff like that than a dragon that's right in the middle of the arena that just towers over everything? Now, arguably, it could have been better, and I think originally the plan was to kind of bulk it out over time, and it never came to fruition to actually add some more structure and body and wings and stuff. But even just having the dragon head and that it would talk back when you'd shoot it and things like that, that was just cool and badass. Second, I think, would be the Jade Serpent, not the one that's in Brisbane. The one I actually think is cooler is in Gresham, Oregon, because it's a giant rattlesnake that has like these little eggs that surround it and stuff like that. And it's a gorgeous piece of art, and it's a really cool function just to have. I love the Jade Serpent mechanic for a regular game, because especially if you don't have a lot of people in there, if you have more things that are interactive, like beacons, like warbots, like a Jade Serpent, it adds things to do. Because I know the first time that I went to the Gresham site, there was like nobody there. It was a weekday afternoon. There were like two kids who signed up to play, so I went in, but they got bored and they basically, I think they like left the game in the middle. So it was just me fighting the Jade Serpent, and, like talking to one of the employees about their site and things like that. But it was a really cool prop. Number one, though, I'm going to say is the Vortex in Brisbane. Because what could be better than having a prop, something that actually spins around and makes you dizzy while you're walking across a metal walkway full of grates in the middle of a game where your adrenaline's going? I mean, that just seems like a great idea to me, right?
It's real
It's the
cool.
best for sure. Yeah.
And also just the
But
sound.
it is
makes
super cool looking.
when
It is
you
very
run through
visually
there.
appealing.
That like jug, 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 jug as you run through the vortex is pretty dope. Yeah, Vortex is wicked. Actually, I'd like to give a very special shout out to the Shark from Atlantis Laser Tag, because that, like, I don't remember a whole lot from that week, but I absolutely remember the Shark. And it wasn't in the maze; it was out in the foyer. But the big shark above, like, the armory door, I think it was.
Yep.
Real cool. What are your thoughts about lights? What lighting effect helps to enhance your experience? Black lights. All the black lights.
Well, obviously.
And then smoke machines with laser lights. Those two things I love.
Although it's very easy to overdo the smoke machines.
I love the smell of that smoke, man. It's so good.
You are a junkie.
Coming home just like with that sticky, disgusting maple syrup shit in my hair that I have to wash out after working a busy Saturday. Ugh.
If you could breathe, it's
Maniac.
not smoke.
You can breathe. No, so while the occasional fully fogged out game is fun, amusing, whatever, I don't know, like I've definitely gotten to the point with that where, like, I like enough of a dusting so that you can see the lasers, because not that the lasers do anything, but the lasers are very visually appealing.
Yeah.
And you know, just enough so that you can get those laser effects being picked up. Blacklight, I mean, that's the obvious thing. Yeah, it's fine. I actually don't really, personally, I don't really like a lot of laser effects in the game.
Either do I.
Because I get distracted seeing a laser effect on the wall and I think somebody's, firing, and realize, it's just a laser effect. Now, having said that, from a general public perspective, it's just more visually intriguing things happening. So from a, again, putting on the hat of what do I want that is going to appeal to the general public. Yeah, we're going black lights, we're going fresh coats of paint on regular bases to keep that popping, and enough fog to pick up the lasers and some laser effects just to make people go, wow, that's really cool.
I think you also need the maze to be well lit, and I don't mean necessarily it has to be light, but there has to be,
yes,
it's like when you get areas of your maze that are really dark, and we've got a couple where like bulbs have blown in the maze or whatever, it goes the other way. It's too dingy. So you need really well lit arenas, I think.
Yes, I have a scar right here that is a testament to that, to make sure that things are well lit at various times. I ran into the wall the very first day at the 2019 Detroit maze.
Actually, that maze has lots of dingy parts in it that they could stand to light the maze a lot better than this. But I feel that, like, when you have really high ceilings, it's quite hard to do that, because the light obviously will dissipate. So yeah, I don't know, maybe it's just well, that being said, though, Syracuse is like quite a high ceiling, and that maze is like really well lit. So I don't know. Some
some of that also with Syracuse is that there's a lot more reflective paint and carpet in Syracuse. There's actually
Yeah.
a lot more things for the light to bounce off of.
Carpet? I think you mean turf, sir.
Whatever. Don't care. Fuck off.
I
And
think you'll find
and
that
so that's
the
like
Jade Serpent is
like
different than a Warbot.
Well, I'm just saying, Thanet is like basically persona non grata because he brought up the fact that there's turf in one of the arenas and that it's non-existent in one of the other ones.
yeah. Well, getting banned from an arena that I never wanted to go back to was the
Pedantic.
highlight of my of my year. I don't know.
Who knows?
Who knows? But that's one of the other things for like making sure that you do have a decent amount of essentially bright colors in the maze on the wall. It's so that whatever light sources you have can catch those and reflect the light a little bit, so that you do end up with less dinginess, because you're not wrong. Like, if you've got a not necessarily well lit lobby, not necessarily well lit arena, it has kind of that dingy feel, like it's not a good impression. And
People will play their 2 or 3 games and then never come back.
correct.
Yeah.
And there's so
Yeah.
I also think it's cool when you have some light effects that are actually tied into in-game effects. That's one reason I'm a big fan of the radiation storm element that was introduced, because that actually will sort of change part of the setup in the arena, so the light actually becomes something to be even more aware of while you're playing, because you'll have, multicolored lights that are going off and people's packs are getting shut off by random things. In a couple of the arenas I've seen, I don't think I'm making this up, that like when somebody's hitting the red base, for instance, like a little red light will keep popping up as somebody hits the base, and that kind of thing. So those kinds of effects I think are really cool, because if it can actually be integrated into the game experience, it changes it from just being the background to now it's actually a kind of interactive feature also.
well, and you can do those like those type of effects don't have to be like hit you over the head effects.
Mhm.
They're they can be nice subtle things that maybe you're not consciously picking up on it, maybe the first, second, or even third time that 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 you're there. But that there is that there's all this stuff happening, and so you're constantly able to kind of pull back extra layers as you keep going back. I mean, obviously the idea with all this, because the reason she's doing this survey is because she's presenting to or she's basically doing a class at a AM conference with regards to arena design and stuff like that. So like the whole thing here is, how do you make everything as appealing as possible to again keep people coming back. And if you've got these little extras that are maybe subtle, that you can pick up over time, that's helpful for keeping people coming back, in my opinion.
That's a cool feature that Russ has put in chat. Cues when the main lighting switches depending on the winning team. I really like that. That's a pretty cool feature. Couple other really cool ones that I dig is so at Sidetracked in Oakley, Melbourne, they had 2 things that were cool. One was there was a light at the in a hallway that was like proxy, but it was motion censored, so it would go on if somebody like ran past it. That's like really simple, and it wasn't super visually striking, but it was quite helpful if you were holding in that particular resupply area, because you could see if anyone was coming in. But what was more visually striking, they had an area, a big wide open area. I can't remember the name of it. I think it was like the Starfield or something, Killing Floor or something. But it basically looked like a giant field of stars. There was like heaps of starlights that like rotated around. It was kind of like a disco ball, but it looked like you were in space, and it was really really cool because they also had a giant starship cockpit that pointed out into that area, so it looked like you were outside of a spaceship. It was really really dope. Those things were really really cool from a lighting perspective, and I suppose like that starship was really cool from a prop perspective as well. Right. We have the LEDs on the ceiling change color so we know who's leading. Yeah, that's really useful. That's cool. That was a later edition. Yeah, I remember I did see that when I was there. That must have come not at 2003, but anyway. What are the now we're going to talk about arena playability. What are the top 3 things that make you feel an arena? Sorry, let me start that again. What are the top 3 things that you feel make an arena play particularly well?
So an arena needs to be balanced, but not necessarily symmetrical.
Yeah, I think once upon a time I might have been like, it would be really cool if we had a totally symmetrical maze, but I really don't feel that way anymore. Like that would actually be kind of boring if it were totally symmetrical, because I like that different sides play slightly differently. But yeah, balanced is something that's key there.
And that's something that while obviously we have a Space Marines bias with that particular statement, it does very much apply in a general public context as well. Because if you have an unbalanced arena where, there's, and I've definitely seen this in arenas I've gone to, where you've got like one spot that is by far and away the best spot in the maze, and whoever has the best spot in the maze or it is definitely going to win the game. That's not necessarily super helpful from a general public perspective either.
There have to be enough areas where it's possible to do well, that you're not just going to be dominated by one point in the arena. So I guess that we're kind of anticipating the next question as well, which is like what makes it play poorly. So on the opposite side, it has to have some balance and some flow to it, so that there isn't just one kind of main choke point that dominates everything. There have to be a couple of areas that are worth fighting for.
As Rush just put into chat, Loveland's third level, which is, I mean, that's a legitimate thing there, where like you have to go for the third level in that maze when you're playing a Space Marines game, for sure. I'm sure that it's also similar to that in a general public game in that maze, because of how the third level overlooks the second level that's underneath it. And if you're on the ground floor in Loveland, you don't actually have like access to really shoot either of those levels. So, and yeah,
from a public perspective, having multiple ways into certain parts of the arena is really good. I think that when you have areas that are dead ends, or areas that are like, if you can camp there and be there the whole game, those don't particularly play well. I mean, that one person's probably having a mean time, but everyone else in the arena is like, oh, that was dumb. That one kid just stayed up there and shot me out of that tiny hole for 15 minutes and I couldn't get in there, and yada yada yada.
Yeah.
So
the arena has to have flow. Generally, dead ends are bad. And I would say that you want to be open enough that you have a variety of targets, but it also has to be closed enough that there are hiding places. There's a real kind of like Goldilocks principle there, where it's like, it can't be too open, but it also can't be too closed off. Like if you only have a bunch of one way of like just narrow hallways and things like that, where there's just one way shots, that is going to be less striking than area where you have sort of a field of vision, like you'll have objects to hide behind, but you could still have a fair number of places where you can potentially place a shot. So I think that's part of the reason why I think Brisbane scores high for a lot of us is that there are plenty of places to hide and duck behind, but the upstairs is still it's very visible. Like you can see most areas of the upstairs from most areas, so you at least have a general idea of where people are, what's happening in the game flow.
I'm gonna roll this into this section as well because it kind of, you know, seems like
It
we
does.
should. The top three things that you feel make an arena play particularly poorly. I'm gonna go ahead and say, yeah, very, very wide open arena. So I remember playing a Mega Zone here in Auckland, and you walked in, and then it basically you could see it was a massive open field. There was hardly any like areas to hide behind. It was like there was very little in there. Just like looked like a big warehouse. And you're like, I can shoot from this one corner I'm standing in. I can shoot everywhere in the maze. There's nowhere for anyone to hide. I could just be here and just kill everything. It was not very well designed. And there's our other Laser Force center that we that we play at sometimes at Game Over. It has two very long corridors that you could see from one end to the other, and I think that taking those shots is not like it's not as fun because I can shoot from one end to the other with nothing in the middle to break that up. So those especially long shots I think maybe make the game a little bit more boring, or you kind of want to encourage your players to move around the maze. Like you said, there has to be that flow, right?
Yeah, and that's something else I can think of for why an arena like Syracuse plays very well, in my opinion, because even though it looks deceptively open because there are some long straightaways and things, but because there are so many cutouts and there are so many different paths that you can take to different places, there's also a big sense of motion because there also aren't really any dead ends in Syracuse. You have the two corners sort of for resupply, but in a general public game, it's not something like people are going to gravitate to the corners because those are areas that are defensible, but they're not real fun to play in a lot of other senses. Yeah. But yeah, having one area that totally dominates the entire arena, I think can be a really detractive factor because there's at least one arena that I've played, and then I think the old Laser X at
Oh God,
Chemical
yeah.
Blends was like that, where you had like stairs that went up to this one little platform where you could see like basically everything. You could just kind of hide and shoot over the wall and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that was dumb. Like way worse than LLT third floor. Like it's not even close.
Yeah.
I mean, the only reason that platform at the Laser X in Country Club, which was really for those of you with your decodering at home, was literally like a 4-mile drive down the road from Sacramento. Lasers. The only reason that wasn't totally dominant is because their packs were generally in such bad shape.
Dog shit.
You couldn't hit shots from that distance. So yeah. Yeah. So
also, if you went there at the wrong time, you might get shot by a real gun. So it's not a great place.
also accurate.
You're like getting stabbed in laser tag.
Now Stallion makes the comment in chat. Another bad arena design. Targets that can be shot from too many angles. And I'm assuming by targets you're meaning the
like infield
the bases and stuff, and that being the case, yeah, like bases, yes, okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure that, and I was interpreting that right. Yeah, for sure. If you can hit, if there's something that you can hit from, I can be like 10 different places and get this thing and not have to put myself in any sort of danger to get to get it. Meh.
As well as like, if you're using it as a reset. Like, yeah, if you can stand, like, you used to be able to stand in Auckland, there's a long ramp, and then if you look down, you can look down into Red Base. There used to be a base on one of the walls, when they upgraded to Gen 7, that you could hit from that ramp. So you could, as well as upstairs already being a massive advantage, you could hit somebody on, like, if you're holding the top of the ramp, you could hit someone coming up the ramp, turn around, get a reset, and then shoot them again before they were able to, like, clear the corner. Oof. So yeah, it was not great. We ended up getting them to move that.
Well, obviously that piece is, that's more of an advanced specific type thing. Yeah. But never underestimate the ability of players to ruin other people's good time.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely having bases. Like, I don't mind if bases can be hit from like a couple of different places, but they need to, they need to not be just like, it doesn't matter where I am. It should have to matter where you are to hit infield targets like that.
Well, that's something else, like thinking about Brisbane with the rotating sides of the bases can be hit. Because at certain times, it's like if you're in the helm and you get it at the right angle at the right time, that suddenly you have a free reset because it's facing your side and you're fighting somebody else. Like, it's great, but because that's sort of a random feature like that, just it adds another element to the game. Yeah.
Yeah. I got two things I'd like to ask you guys' opinions on.
Sure.
Mirrors and small windows to shoot through. Where do you guys... We'll tackle mirrors first. How do you guys feel about mirrors in the arena?
Used very sparingly.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are certain contexts that I don't mind them.
Yeah.
Like, there are certain arenas that I've been in where a strategically placed mirror, like, you can look at it and realize, okay, they have put that there because this particular spot was too strong for whatever reason, and so by putting this mirror there, it is negating the overall power level of this spot. Cool. Like, there are definitely some use cases for it.
Yeah, Ducky, those.
However,
as long as the mirrors are obvious, I don't mind them. It's like when there's a ton of like little ones, or they're in strange angles, they're on the ceiling, or stupid shit like that.
Looking right at you, Chula
like,
Vista.
No. I wasn't gonna name names. I'm not like that. I think Chula Vista was bad. You should have seen one of the old Las Vegas mazes, though.
Really?
Oh yeah, that was where I was about to go to. Like, the Laser Quest mazes were basically nothing but mirrors. Basically nothing but mirrors and cutouts.
Right.
And there was a Laser Force in Vegas briefly that took over a Laser Quest that had closed. And it's like, guys, if corporate tag couldn't make it, why did you think this was a good location? But that's a whole other thing. And quest gear with a bunch of mirrors, whatever. The packs don't really have any range anyway, so it's not necessarily a huge issue. Laser Force equipment in an arena that literally had several hundred mirrors, because they were all like this big in various places, or different shapes and whatnot. There were definitely times where, like, we were there playing and you'd get shot and you just kind of stop me like, are you fucking kidding me? And then one of their players later would go, oh yeah, no, I shot you there. I bounced it off that mirror, and that mirror to hit you. Are you what? I
mean, that takes a lot of skill, but you have to learn the maze as a weapon rather than as an arena.
Yeah, and is having a lot of mirrors in an arena visually impressive? Yes, like that.
Sometimes
Can be.
Can be the way that the laser quest arenas were set up with the mirrors and whatnot, they typically were actually pretty visually impressive as far as that goes. So you can make the arguments for it, but yeah, mirrors for me are a very sparingly, very occasional, and be obvious about it thing.
So
Hmm.
in the original Auckland arena, they had mirrors on the roof, which I remember playing there a couple times when the arena was like that. But it was kind of cool because you could shoot people over walls off the roof. But because the whole roof was mirror tiles, you could clearly see stuff and people could clearly see you, and it was actually visually striking. It wasn't the whole arena; it was like a one section of it.
Okay.
But I remember it looking really cool, and that was before I was playing competitively. So, like, when these things stick with you, like visually,
Yeah.
they must have been pretty dope. The other thing is tiny cutouts to shoot through.
Fuck off.
Obviously, from a competitive standpoint, we hate them. From a public standpoint, do you think they
Even from a
care?
Gen Pub standpoint, I don't really like them because it puts too much emphasis on like cheese ball
Yeah,
shots and things like that. It makes it too easy for semi-experienced veterans to really take advantage of newer players.
yeah,
And I think it, like honestly, from a safety issue, from
Yep.
people who are not experienced laser tag people, there is a real temptation for people to do things like stick their gun through grates and or through cutouts and something like that, and for people to run into them very easily. So I'm not a fan of that. Like if you're gonna have a window, make it a real obvious like window-sized thing rather than just these random
random.
ass cutouts that are in places for no particular reason.
Yeah, that's a good point, Ducky. General public will blind shoot anyway. They don't need cutouts, tiny windows to assist them. So
Right.
we've got a couple of spots again in the Auckland arena. Two windows that like cutouts that look down into the green base, and then one into a random corridor. We don't worry about covering them up anymore. But one really cool thing that Auckland did was they made blocks that you could put into the windows that
Yep.
would stop people from shooting through them, which I really liked. I liked that idea. So, yeah,
Yeah, with the cutouts thing. I mean, I agree with DK on the safety issue thing. Um,
maybe
the
again it cuts out that flow again, right? Like anything that detracts from a flow is probably not great. Like,
Yeah, and one other thing I would add, then this is specifically to two floor arenas because the Las Vegas arena jogged my memory there, is in a multi-floor arena, if you don't have accessibility to all areas of the second floor, like from one central area, that's a real drawback because it completely eliminates the flow from the maze because there were essentially three different towers
yeah.
that all had their own ramps going up to them, but there was no way to access one tower from another. So you'd have to go all the way down one ramp, all the way up another ramp in a different part of the maze. So that's difficult to learn for new players. It cuts out the flow in just a regular game, and even for experienced players, like it slows down the whole arena. And the biggest thing I would say to that is like looking at the 2009 Nationals where we didn't use the upstairs in Detroit and we had to just play ramp defense. Like it was slow, it was grinding, it was not great. It wasn't real good from that perspective. Like the Atlantis upstairs where you just had kind of the three towers and there was a walkway that connected to each of them. Like it's not my favorite setup, but at least it has a logical flow to it. Like there is definitely a way to get from point A to point B that's very logical. When you don't have that, that's a bad thing.
that might open this up. What features about arena construction related to structure, map layout, etc. do you like or dislike most? What is your opinion about stairs in an arena versus ramps?
Fuck off stairs.
Fuck off
Stairs,
stairs.
stairs have no
Stairs
place where lighting is low, and where people are running.
And more people are moving fast. Yeah.
yeah. They have no place in the laser tag arena. Get rid of all stairs within laser tag arena. No space for them.
Yeah. No submarine doors either.
Oh yeah, that's one
My
feature I don't like
my
about
one my
Brisbane.
one complaint about Brisbane is the stairs and the submarine doors.
Yeah,
Those are two
dumb.
complaints.
What I really
The same package though. It's all a safety
what I
accessibility issue.
one thing I really like, and it's not for competitive play, but I think is a really cool kind of gimmick, is having removable or changeable walls in a laser tag arena. I think is a really cool feature because that gives you a reasonably cost-effective way to change your arena up so that people, when they come back, they get a new experience when they play there.
Oh, you mean like the 3 doors and the 7 doorways in Auckland, Steve-O?
I
You
do.
mean like that?
That's exactly what I mean. But like,
No.
we have the ability to seal off the disco areas, which completely changes how arena plays because that adds 2 dead ends. Which from a competitive perspective is not a bad thing if you're trying to add some like resupply spots. We don't play that way anymore. We haven't played that way in like 15 years, but
I
maybe
haven't been gone that long.
maybe not that long. But yeah, ramps that aren't too steep are good too. Yeah, I agree. If you can't put a good ramp in, maybe change the way that you're thinking about your arena design. We were in a maze in Braybrook in Australia.
Oh fuck.
And like the first thing that happens is you have to go up a full flight of stairs to get into the arena, and then once you've gone through that, they had this weird mezzanine floor that like only just they probably shouldn't have put that in there because it was like the roof was, I could be standing upright and the roof was basically pushing on my head, and I'm not overly tall, so for anyone else in there,
Yeah, we are not the most vertically gifted laser tag players, shall we
that's
say.
right. But to get there was like 2 ramps, and one of the ramps was so steep you had to basically run at it and launch off one foot to make it onto the mezzanine. But then you had to immediately duck because the roof was so low, and there was several beams that ran across the roof that like you would smash your head on. So yeah,
You gotta watch out for your Brews and your Dude Bromen of the world.
exactly right. Like yeah, I suppose ceiling clearance is a big thing. Padded beams I quite like. If you've got beams or like walls that stick out, any padding that you can put onto the end of those things will go a long way to prevent injuries in your arena.
Yeah.
What have you guys got?
And we brought it up earlier, turf. If you can afford AstroTurf for your surfaces, it's a great improvement.
It's the best.
Yeah, I still remember the first time that we went to Syracuse in 2011, and that was like really the first time I played in a real arena with turf, because laser runner garbage didn't count, and I just remember, I mean, so many things about that week went very poorly, but I remember getting to the end of the week and being like, wait a minute, my ankles, knees, and hips all don't hurt because I haven't been just standing and running on concrete for a week. Huh. So
Could have
yeah,
used
no,
that
that's
at
a
Brisbane when my little brother was playing on our team. That would have made his week far more enjoyable, but never mind.
oh well.
Might have.
Poor little guy.
Poor guy.
Is there anything else you guys want to add to that?
Well, I guess this does go into this part because I had mentioned that I have a little bit of a bias for 2-floor arenas because I think exploring the vertical space is really cool.
Yeah.
But I would slightly amend my last point about making sure areas from a second floor are accessible to all other areas. Is that you do have some arenas where you have, it's not a full second floor. You just have like raised platforms and things like those don't necessarily need to connect. Again, going back to like San Marcos, barring any other issues, Dan, that you may have had there, I did like the way that arena played.
Yep.
by and large, with having sort of your two little platforms there. But you couldn't get under the platforms. It essentially is still one floor. They're just slightly elevated areas. I think those are fine and things like that because that at least again allows you to explore vertical space a little bit as well.
It's kind of what Ballarat had, right, with that weird raised platform that crossed the
Yeah,
center
yeah.
of the room. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, I mean, I quite enjoyed Ballarat's maze. Not that I saw a lot of it because I spent a lot of time standing in a corner, not running. Um,
And not just
but
because of your gimp knee.
I mean, that was definitely a very large reason why I stood in a corner and didn't move much that
Yeah.
tournament. Yeah, what can I say? Steve-O actually did a very competent job that tournament of making sure I didn't have to run much.
Thank you. That was me in my
Yeah.
my heyday. Yep. At the
Yeah,
height
pretty
of
much.
my laser force
So
Definitely Apex Mountain for G&D right there.
100%.
for yeah, I mean, it was probably my Apex Mountain too, so we're good. But no, having the things to explore vertical space, but if you've got the space to do a proper 2-story arena, do a 2-story arena. Like that's really something that if you've got the space to do it, do it. Now, if you've got the space to do a 3-story, if you got the space to do a 3-story arena, do a 2-story arena. Because
I agree. Yeah.
because the couple of 3-story arenas that I've been in, and Starkiller just said in chat, Houston, yeah, that was the initial one I was gonna go to. Like when we went there, like we basically made the 3rd floor off limits because of how
Because it would have been dominant. It would have been that principle that we described, where there's one way in and out. It can see all their points in the field. It is beyond ridiculously dominant.
Yeah. So and then Ducky also makes a comment, which is a corollary. If you're doing a 2-story arena, don't make the lower level unplayable. Also correct, but I mean that comes back to the flow of the arena and providing enough cover from the top floor to the bottom floor so that people being on the bottom floor is a viable idea. And they're not just immediately like, oh, I need to get upstairs because if I don't, I'm just gonna get shat on the whole time that I'm down here. That was one thing that Sacramento got better at over the years as far as providing additional cover to the downstairs area. So things went from oh, if you were in like 75% of the downstairs, you're gonna get fucked from upstairs to, well, there's actually about there's actually about 3/4 of downstairs you can use and be safe from the upstairs. I mean, obviously, you need to be able to have interaction between the levels because that's part of the flow. But we come back to the principle of there shouldn't be one dominant space. There's always going to be better locations inside of an arena. Like you are never going to get away from there being better locations, and nor should you. I mean, there should be better locations, but there should be 4 or 5 or 6 better locations that people are trying to fight over, as opposed to, oh, there's 1, maybe 2 better locations.
I'm all right with that.
That everybody trying to fight over.
Like super dominant. That's the problem. There's I think they're in our arena. I think,
and that's what I mean.
Holding upstairs
is
the
super dominant part.
Yeah, it's better, but like it's not overwhelmingly dominant. You can still win if you're not holding upstairs.
Yep.
And so what you said, Ducky, about Brisbane, the ground level is largely unusable. I disagree. I think that you're going to lose if you try and play downstairs because you're always going to have an advantage seeing what's in front of you and seeing what's below you versus seeing what's in front of you and seeing and looking up, because that's just how our eyesight works, right? There's
Just
always
ask
going to be an
Anakin.
advantage. Yeah, I've got the high ground, but there you can regroup in the Brisbane downstairs and push your way back upstairs. Needs to be, I don't know, man. If you get kicked downstairs from in the Brisbane arena and you can't get
Anytime
upstairs,
you have a 2-floor arena, the second floor is always going to be preferable
Always.
to the first one.
Yeah.
So I would say I would agree in principle, Ducky, more equitable, but regardless, there's always going to be an advantage to against
Running-
having the high ground because
running up
it's
a
always
ramp.
going to be harder to capture.
yeah, running up a
But
ramp
then-
is
but-
way harder than running along flat ground. Or
But the
down a
but the other thing to this is again, I mean, we need to step back from our Space Marines 5 bias here because we're all definitely lensing it that way.
No, that's true for Gen Pub too.
Well, okay, but I think the downstairs for Brisbane for Gen Pub is more playable than it feels for Space 5 competitive
Okay.
play.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's a fair point.
so from a Gen Pub person, because we're using Brisbane as the example, like I feel like a general public player going into the Brisbane maze and never making it up the ramps, I think they're still going to have a fairly decent experience in that arena. There's enough there's enough visual sightline up that you can shoot people above you. There's enough cover that you're not gonna get completely wrecked from the upstairs, but you're gonna get hit. And there's enough objects downstairs that you can interact with.
Well, all of the bases are downstairs.
Oh, well, I mean, but the bases you can interact with from upstairs in some cases too. But the Jade Serpent is downstairs.
Downstairs.
So you've got and there's beacons that are only
Most of the
accessible
beacons are downstairs too, I think.
So you've got this kind of like general public would be able to play downstairs in that maze and still have an enjoyable time, as opposed to something very let's use the Sugarland, Texas, Houston, Texas maze as an example, where like that maze was 3 levels, very large ground floor, middle ring of dumb, and
Donut.
then, middle ring of dumb, and then basically a castle top that had one way in and out. But the ground floor was like almost completely open to the upstairs, bar like where the donut was.
Yeah, and open to itself as well. There was just tons of just wide open field downstairs.
Yeah, so a general public player in that maze that stays downstairs, at least historically, I obviously haven't been there in years and years and years, is probably not going to have as great of an experience as that goes, Ducky. But can they? Natural tendency is to go upstairs. Box Hill was a 4-level arena. You'd be lucky to find anyone on the ground level. People will.
Wow.
But people want to explore, right? You go into
Yeah.
these arenas to like have an adventure, and if your adventure consists of not leaving the ground, space isn't for you. Okay, space is not for you. Yeah.
Yeah. The idea there. Yeah. I mean, yeah. People will bias up because that is our nature.
I want to go climb a fort. That kind of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you still want to have the ability for, someone that if they don't, they can still have an enjoyable experience.
But that's I think the point he's making, like specifically for Brisbane, is that the case? I think it is. Yeah, I really do.
Yeah, it's to a much larger meta issue, but I would just say the Brisbane ground floor needs to be used differently. But that's a side tangent,
right,
for another time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Napier is really bad arena to be on the ground floor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Napier was basically a kill box if you were on the ground floor for anybody that was on the second floor. So
Yuck.
there was very limited safe space downstairs.
And then
for sure.
and even getting up the ramps was impossible. So
Yeah.
if you didn't get upstairs at the start of the game, that's the type of arena that is too dominant. And we've addressed it in the past. I think like Starling came on and
So there you go.
and talked about it as well. Last thing, unless you guys wanted to add anything to that.
I think we're good on that for the moment.
Cool. Last thing, additional comments. What could a laser tag operator do to make you walk away saying, now that is a great arena? Anything else you would like to add? If you would like to provide your name / code name optional, please include in this field. Steve, aka Guy Next Door. That's me.
So, all right. So here's a little bit of the reframing that I think needs to happen with this. And this is something that Lejeune from Sacramento posted as a comment in the Facebook thread. You can have the greatest arena in the world with the biggest wow factor and the most balanced, and it's amazing, and it is the greatest thing since sliced bread. If your staff is fucking terrible, nobody cares. Like
Yeah.
like you can drop all this money into your arena and your lighting effects, and it's gonna be real fucking cool. If you do not have staff that care about the customer experience, and I'm not even saying that the staff need to necessarily be super knowledgeable about laser tag, whatever. That is a separate thing that is a little related.
If at best they're apathetic, it's just not going to work.
Yeah, if the staff themselves, like, you can tell that they just genuinely don't care, then and they're not providing that overall experience for customers. I don't care how good your arena is. I don't care how good your laser tag equipment is. People will kind of go, meh, so it's like, oh, we didn't have a good experience. Why would we go back and spend money again to not have a good experience?
Well, laser tag is very much a person-to-person type experience. You need other people to make your experience playing laser tag good. There's nobody else there, and that absolutely reflects on the staff. So, I liken that to the streaming community. So part of the reason people want to come back to hang out with you is because they had a good personal experience with you, the community that you're building. That'll go a long way at Laser Force Center, building community, to have regular members come back and want to hang out at a place where they feel welcome, where they feel is positive, where the staff are like, at least sort of interested in them as people, or at least making sure that they
operators take care of your staff so your staff can take care of your customers.
Make sure you have good staff. I mean, you can take care of people, but if that's shit.
Well, I mean, that's just true of life generally.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. That really is like that is the secret sauce.
Did you have any other takes though? Because that's already on there. Or Lejeune already said that. Be original, man.
I don't know. I feel like we tried to be exhaustive on some of these other categories. I feel like our deep dive probably went into more detail than I certainly know that I did initially when I filled out the survey.
Yeah.
Like discussing it in this open forum. I think we covered most of the major points.
I think so.
Yeah, and Ducky apologizing in chat for being the grump at Oakley, who was more interested in looking after the equipment. But here's the thing,
now
Ducky,
they're closed. Good one, Ducky.
Okay, but in amidst that, like, I would never guess that you would go like, out of your way to make somebody's experience negative. And I've been in
Being that guy.
facilities. Well, okay, I have, but that's an entirely
Only once or twice, not that often.
yeah, not that often, but I have. But I've definitely been in facilities as a customer and just kind of have observed staff where it's like, huh, you know, there's there's so many things that you could be doing right now that would be much better than what you're actually doing. Um, yeah.
So then that's kind of why I think Brisbane is really, really good and have a lot of success. I don't think I've ever had a bad customer service experience at Brisbane Laser Tag. They've got quite a lot of like staff that have been through those doors, but like every single staff member I've dealt with have been very friendly. You've been very helpful. Maybe not. I don't know how intertwined they get with the actual player base. Maybe someone in Brisbane can like shed some light on that. But yeah, maybe that's why. Really, really
I think
good.
it varies.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the next thing that we're going to get to, the Stallion. Obviously this survey has been put together by Tivia. Please head to that link in chat and complete the survey yourself. Any points that you put in chat, please make sure to put them into the survey. It goes a long way to making laser tag a much better experience for the general consumer, which, like you said, then is better for all of us. Please go to that site. We'll also send Tivia a link to the stream so that she can go through and maybe glean some more stuff from the garbage that we say.
We're spitting straight knowledge here.
That's right. Fresh takes.
Not really.
Is there any lasting things that you guys would like to end with?
I don't know. I feel like we've covered a lot of I mean, granted, so some of it's ground that we have tread on before, because we definitely have our soapboxes that we like to get on with some of this stuff.
As much stuff as we need to on this channel.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
But no, I think we've kind of covered, or at least I feel like I've covered the stuff that I need to cover with this in the immediate.
Agreed.
I went through and listened to the last Arenas podcast that we did. I listened to that this morning, and the first thing that we lead off with is, well, this time of year there's not a whole bunch of stuff going on, so we're just gonna talk about whatever we can. I was like, well said, past me, well said. But yeah, look, if you want to check that out, exclamation YouTube and chat. All of our back episodes are on YouTube. I try my very best to keep it updated, although I hadn't updated it for about 6 weeks. All of the episodes, I think up until last week, are up there. I'll do my best to chuck this one up ASAP. Please give it a follow. We are now we're at 71 subscribers, which bugs me. I will hope that if we weren't at 100, we just stay at 69 forever. I do see that we're back down to 420 on here, though, so sweet. Specifically, episode 84 for previous arena discussion. Exactly right. Thank you very much to Tivia for letting us. I didn't really ask for permission, but for
giving us free content.
Yeah, exactly right. We'll we'll ride your coattails all the way to the bank. But for this week, actually no. Before we do that, thank you very much for chat. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. For also engaging in our content and helping us wax poetic about the thing that we all love, which is laser tag, specifically Laser Force, and even more specifically Space Marines or Laser Ball. But for this week, I have been Guy Next Door.
I have been DK.
And I've been Than.
Always remember to backtrack, kids. We will see you next week for a fresh slate.
Blimey.
A flesh slate?
Flashlight.
Flesh.
Okay,
not that-
call it a night, everybody.
It's not that type of channel.
Special,
We get
very
banned.
special Resupply After Dark episode.
With a flashlight, okay.
With a flashlight. Ka kite anō. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.
I've been throwing daggers in the night. I've been chasing all the stars, stealing all their lights. The cut so sharp, cut so deep. If they seem to hit their target, it must be what we reap. 'Cause you don't know what I know. You don't feel the way I feel. All these places I wanna go makes me wonder if my looks could kill. I've been throwing daggers in my dreams. If they seem to hit their target, it's harder than it seems. 'Cause you don't know what I know. And you don't feel the way I feel. And all these places I wanna go makes me wonder if my looks could kill. I'm a well-known stranger, walking my own path. Gave up all my mysteries just to get